welcome to our show. My name is Sarah Clayton, and this is my beautiful co-host, Sunny Max. And thank you for watching Law Media, thank you for tuning in to Law Media.
Hi guys.
So today we're speaking about the coronavirus. That is a pandemic worldwide, and
we wanted to talk about it in relation to cruise ships and give you a little bit of a legal perspective on what's going on right now with the Princess Cruise Line, and especially it being disembarked on the coast of Oakland, and particularly a couple, the Weisberger couple, and a lawsuit that they filed in the District Court of California, and whether or not the cruise ship, the Princess Cruise Line, had some kind of duty towards the couple. And so I'll let Sarah, our Juris Doctorate, expand on that.
Okay, so what we have now going on, we have cruise lines, and they have thousands of passengers on board, and we have this virus. Just for an update, the coronavirus is an updated virus. The coronavirus has been around for years. It's one of the SARS viruses, and this particular virus is associated with animals, bats specifically, and the virus causes a respiratory disease that we're calling coronavirus. You may see it as COVID or COVID-19, and this is the virus that is causing a pandemic that is panicking the world. So basically, in order for these passengers, what happened is these passengers were quarantined because they had other passengers on the boat that had it. So we would like to give you guys a little a little education on what it would take to bring about a negligence suit. Negligence basically is saying that someone did not do what they were supposed to do. They're saying that they're saying that a business, a court actually could be found negligent, but they're saying that a business, a person, or some entity was negligent. They had a duty that was breached, and that breach was the causation of damages. It's possible for a company to be found negligent. However, the plaintiff can receive no damages, because if that plaintiff was not hurt, or if they didn't suffer anything, then they won't receive any damages.
Right. So there is an issue here with this couple, the Weisbergers. We don't know if they actually contracted COVID-19, but what the couple is doing is they're actually suing for damages of emotional distress, because they're panicking right now as they're being quarantined whether or not they're going to develop the disease. And I think that they're asking for $1 million. Is that correct? It's $1 million for emotional distress?
Yeah, $1 million. Okay. And what we're seeing now, it's a lot of cases being filed against these cruise lines. And in order to be successful in a negligent action, you're going to have to prove those 4 elements: duty, breach, proximate cause, which I'm going to go ahead and call it causation, and damages. Here, they would have to prove that the plaintiffs would have to prove that the cruise ship was negligent. They had a duty to take all reasonable measures to prevent exposure to the virus. So the plaintiffs are going to have to show that the cruise ship was negligent. They knew or should have known of the existence of this danger, and they failed to protect the passengers. They failed to protect their clients or their customers.
Oh, just to add on that, Sarah, so the lawsuit specifically accuses the Princess Cruise Lines of sailing despite knowing that the ship was infected from 2 previous passengers who came down with symptoms of COVID-19, and they had 62 passengers on board who were possibly infected. So just to answer what you just said, that their duty to take all the reasonable measures to prevent the exposure, they did not meet that duty according to this lawsuit.
And so the passengers would go ahead and file, or they would get their attorney to go ahead and file a negligent suit. And according to this report, it sounds like the cruise line did know or should have known, and because they did know, they should have acted in a manner that protected those client or those customers from danger. Now let's go ahead and speak a little bit. I think what may happen is some of the cruise lines are going to say, well, this is an act of God. This is something we could not have prevented. However, from my understanding, cruise lines have a reputation of being, what do they call them?
A floating petri dish?
Floating petri dish. And I think that's kind of basically the general gist that people think. Like, it's a cruise ship. It's a closed environment. You guys are sharing one water system, one air system. You guys are sharing the exact same facilities. So, of course, exposure can happen. It can be person-to-person contact. Also, children can catch the disease, but they are not suffering the symptoms like adults are. Okay, so
just to piggyback on what Sarah just said, so knowing what we know of cruise ships, knowing the reputation that cruise ships have of being this floating petri dish, it's kind of a pop culture common knowledge. We all laugh about it, right? Well, cruise ships also have a lot of experience handling viruses and disease. Like when SARS and MERS came out, the cruise ships had protocols in place and continue to have those measures that they've taken. But this Florida couple is suing because they felt that the cruise ship just put their bottom line and their need to fill these rooms and make money over those protocols to eradicate the virus, or to at least contain the virus above the health. I mean, they put making profit above those protocols and the health of their customers.
Yeah, and I mean that 1,000% sounds like negligence. Like Sunny said, we have had, even in the past 10 years, I remember there was a SARS issue, there was a norovirus issue, I heard of Ebola, that being an issue, and those are just the ones that are on the top of my head. And everyone knows that cruise ships are the walking petri dish. So does the cruise ship itself know, or should they have known that, okay, we have another virus, let's go ahead and follow our protocol to make sure that we ensure none of our customers are getting sick. People were boarding the ship from known areas of infection. So I think it would be hard to say that the cruise line did not know that the virus could possibly, or someone could possibly be infected and infect the entire boat, which caused, like, everyone had to be in quarantine. So
well, I think what happened, I want to also add to this. So it would be like, I think the cruise ship is thinking in their mind, oh, this is a pan-Asian disease, right? This is a Asian continental disease. It's happening in China and Japan, because the same Princess Cruise Line had a Japanese ship that had been quarantined. I don't know where it was, off of Tokyo, I think. Yes, it was Tokyo, and it had been quarantined already, quarantined in Japan, and there were 700 aboard that ship that became infected, and 7 passengers had died. So that alone right there, it's like, okay, this cruise ship should have known, right?
They should have known.
But I think, I mean, I'm not giving this cruise ship like you guys know my opinion, but if I'm going to be opinionless, it's almost like I think that the cruise ship possibly could have thought maybe this is something that's happening in the pan-Asian continents. However, knowing how rapidly and how deadly this virus was, and then also knowing that the same exact virus is on their ship that's docking in Oakland, is really scary that nothing was done except just checking off your name. This couple is saying that all they had to do was just check off a box saying they weren't sick to get on the boat.
Exactly, and
That's it.
these cruise lines take out millions of dollars in insurance. Their issue, or they are not. It's not like these boat and cruise lines. They take out millions of dollars in insurance policies for this very reason. It is practicable in their industry to prepare for viruses, to make sure we keep the premises safe from viruses. And I don't understand how decisions were made so that the virus could be allowed to spread. And we have noticed, and let's also talk about the type of people that go on cruise ships.
Yes.
We love all people. However,
Yes.
it seems like sometimes older people
Yep.
do take cruises a little bit more than younger people. Considering that this specific disease or this specific virus targets the elderly, or it has harsher effects on the elderly, I think the cruise line was at a heightened sense of awareness. So I definitely think they did have a duty. I definitely think that there were people that got sick. Now, for causation, that's going to be the third element. Causation, those individuals have to prove, those plaintiffs have to prove and show that their illness or them catching the virus was caused by a breach on the cruise ship, or was caused by the cruise line's failure to act. And after they prove that, they'll have to further go ahead and prove damages. Damages are basically exactly what they sound like. How much money should you be compensated for? What was your problem? How you injured? What did you suffer? How was your life changed? Do you now have the virus and you don't know if in 1 year, like, you grow a patch of hair on your back because you got it, or your bones start to deteriorate? You think, okay, I got the coronavirus.
You could spread it to another family member that could die.
You could spread it to another family member that could die. You could kill your grandparent unknowingly. Right. So we're going to go ahead and leave with you guys with this information, and we will be following up. Thank you so much for tuning in. And just to let you know, our set does look a little bit different today. We have some staff that may be out. The coronavirus has affected
Our
us.
producer has a flu, but we don't think it's the coronavirus.
So, everything, it's affecting everything. Like, people, if they sniff or cough a little bit, like, usually, like, we're sneezing and everything,
we send them home.
Yeah, like, people aren't showing up. So, it's affecting everything. So, people, this is a pandemic. We just want everybody to know that they have rights. Negligence is a cause of action. If you have been injured, I would recommend to seek an attorney to go ahead and push your case forward and make sure that you're taken care of. Know your rights and get your money.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Comment and subscribe down below.
Subscribe. Woo!